السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
الحمد لله رب العالمين. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه ملء السماوات وملء الأرض وملء ما بينهما وملء ما شاء من شيء بعد. الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونستهديه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له، ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. أما بعد. We find ourselves in the last 10 days of Ramadan. SubhanAllah, how quickly it has gone. And I'm sure we'll find these last few days of Ramadan will go equally quickly, if not more quickly. And soon we'll find ourselves, inshallah, celebrating Eid. And before we know it, we will find ourselves weeks later, months later, and we left Ramadan behind and we forgot about it. So I ask you and I ask myself, what have we done with our Ramadan so far? What have we done with the first portion of Ramadan that has already passed? And I'm sorry to tell you, forgive me for telling you, that everything you've done so far during Ramadan, your fasting, your prayers, reading Quran, all of these things that you did so far are useless, worthless, nothing. All of it. Did you really think that being hungry all day was benefiting anyone? Did you think that missing sleep and while everyone else was having fun and going to the movies and you were standing here bunched together in this building, tired, uncomfortable, did you think you were benefiting anyone? All of it was useless, it was worthless. Except. Without the except, I'm sure you're feeling pretty bad. You're saying, wait a minute, all of this work that I've been doing all month long is worthless? It's worth nothing? There's no value at all to it? Why did I make all this effort? Without the except, yeah, it is worthless. In fact, it's less than zero. Who could you sell your hunger to? Who's going to pay you to go hungry for a day? It's worthless. It's not valuable to you. And in fact, if anything, it's actually less than zero because it's harming you. You'd rather not be hungry than be hungry. You'd rather not be tired than be tired. You'd rather sleep and watch movies and TV and play video games, whatever you do for fun, than be in the masjid praying. But there's an except. Because actually, with the except, the value of all of those things is worth more than anything else in this world. And the except is if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts it from you. All of those things that you've done all month long are worthless, zero value if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't accept. If it wasn't for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't accept it from you, not only was it worthless, it was actually less than zero because you could have been doing something else. Could have been doing something else more fun. Maybe you could have been working and making money. Didn't have to be hungry for no reason. So without the acceptance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all of our efforts are useless. Why are you going hungry and tired and all of this effort? But when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts it from us, that's when it becomes valuable. So our goal should not be just to do more. We need to examine what did we do and why did we do it, and is it worthy of being accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Not the quantity, in other words, but the quality. Because if you have 1,000 zeros, it's still zero. If you have 1,000,000 zeros, it's still zero. So it's not the quantity, but the quality. So ask yourself, what did I do so far during Ramadan? And what was the quality of what I did? Did I do it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Because that is the criteria that will make it acceptable to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that you did it with sincerity and only for His sake and for no other reason. We know, brothers and sisters, that there are some people who fast the month of Ramadan or fast for other reasons, and it's not for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's no reward for them. Some people fast to lose weight. I'm talking about even non-Muslims, not just fasting Ramadan. I'm saying there's non-Muslims who fast to lose weight. Do you think they're getting any benefit from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for that fasting? Of course not. They're not doing it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there are some people who fast because Their parents told them. Their parents told them they have to fast, so they fast. They grew up in a household where everyone fasted, so they fast. Just that whatever, it's what everybody's doing. But there's no sincerity, no connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They're missing out. That effort is not going to create value for them with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So ask yourself, what did I do during Ramadan so far? And did I do it with sincerity for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so that it would be accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Now, I'm going to try to share something with you that may sound a little confusing. But inshallah, I'll explain it. Hopefully I won't explain it poorly. Inshallah, I'll explain it well, that it will make some sense. Inshallah, be beneficial. Fasting has quality. There's different levels of quality to fasting. Now you're wondering to yourself, wait a minute, isn't fasting just not eating and drinking? Yes, physically speaking, fasting is not eating and drinking. So one person who's not eating and drinking and another person who's not eating and drinking, how can one quality be better than the other? How can one person be better at not eating and drinking than somebody else not eating and drinking? But no, it can. Just like salah. Think about it, salah. Isn't there different quality of salah? Absolutely. And it's not just because some people, when they make salah, they're racing. They're trying to make the salah so quickly. Sometimes we see our kids doing that. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide them. May we be able to teach them the importance of making salah with khushu'. But sometimes you see somebody is, they have to make it quickly to get to this meeting. They have, they put their video game on pause and now the other people online are going to win. Whatever. They're rushing to get their salah done. So up and down, okay. Well, that's not a good quality salah. But I'm not just talking about that. You might find two people praying side by side, taking the same time. From the outside, they might look like these are both beautiful salah, same quality. MashaAllah, these brothers, beautiful salah. So the action, the physical portion of the salah, is indistinguishable to you and me. From the outside, we can't tell. They both look like great quality salah. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows that one of them, the whole time, is concentrating, focusing, connecting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the other person, he's thinking about something else. He's thinking about, I wonder what, is going to be for iftar tonight. Maybe my wife is going to make something good. So from the outside, they look the same, but you know that the quality of those two prayers is very different. And of course, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to prefer the salah of the sincere person who's praying with khushu', praying with connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Your fasting is the same. That's what I'm saying. Fasting is not just a negative act of not eating and drinking. That's indistinguishable from person to person. No, there's quality behind it. Because did that not eating and drinking, did it connect you with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And I don't just mean that, a good fast is the person who controls his temper and doesn't get angry and doesn't use bad language. Yes, that's true. But that's not getting angry and not using bad language and controlling your temper. The fasting of the good person during Ramadan is the person who gives charity and reads a lot of Quran. Yes, that's true. But that's reading Quran and giving charity. I'm talking about the actual fasting. The physical portion of it, not eating and drinking, there's quality to it. For example, I'm sure we're all guilty of this, but maybe when we were children, or sometimes our children, during Ramadan, they're fasting, they get hungry, and they get a headache, and they're tired, and how much longer? How much longer, Mama? Is it 15 minutes? The hunger is affecting that person, and all they can think about is the hunger. How about this? When the hunger comes on you, you say, Ya Rab, laka ya Rab, this is for you. This hunger I'm feeling now is for you. Instead of complaining, instead of feeling bad for yourself, instead of fantasizing about what food you're going to eat as soon as the clock hits Maghrib time, that same physical act of being hungry, of not eating and not drinking, your thirst, your hunger, connect it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you see other people eating and drinking, someone non-Muslim invited you to some great party that you're going to miss because it's Ramadan. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't come because it's Ramadan. And the next day you go to work and they tell you how great was the party and we had so much fun. Oh, we missed you, we wish you could have come. You're going to feel bad? Feel sorry for yourself? No. Alhamdulillah. These poor people don't know what is Ramadan. My poor co-workers who were partying last night don't understand how much I was benefiting from fasting during Ramadan and going for Taraweeh, and how much more this is good for me compared to whatever they were doing in their party. Your fasting has quality. It's not just a negative act of not eating and drinking. You have to connect it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And your breaking of the fast has quality. Yes. When you break your fast, that has quality too. It's not just, okay, I stopped fasting, so now I'm eating. Well, yes, physically speaking, that's what's happening. You didn't eat all day, Maghrib time came, and then you ate or drank something and your fast is over. Physically. But there's a quality to it as well. There's a quality to it. When you break your fast, did you turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and make dua? If you don't know the dua of breaking your fast that the Prophet ﷺ taught us, learn the dua and make the dua. Put it on your refrigerator. Hang it in your house somewhere if you can't remember it. Because what do we say when we break our fast, as the Prophet ﷺ taught us? Allahumma inni laka sumt. I fasted for you, Allah. I fasted for you. This is how the dua begins, because you're breaking your fast, reminding yourself that you did it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Before you ate, before you had the date or the water or whatever it was. And when you break your fast, and you pray Salat al-Maghrib, and you eat your iftar, that has quality. For example, I'm going to speak to the brothers here for a moment, because I know my brothers. Was there a day during Ramadan where you were not happy with the food that your wife prepared? I've been fasting all day, and this is what you made? Maybe you didn't say it, but did you feel it? Were you disappointed that the food wasn't up to your standards? First of all, brothers, please, we need to be kind to our wives. Our wives are not our servants. They're not our chef, our private chef. So when your wife makes food for you, she's doing it out of her love and caring for you, not because you're paying her. She doesn't work for you. But more importantly, when you break your fast and that food is now halal for you, that same food that was haram is now halal for you, remember that that food is a blessing, a ni'mah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whatever it is. And unfortunately, we're not good at that. How can I tell? Because we waste so much food. We waste so much food. Muslims fasting, hungry all day, and wasting, throwing away food? Yeah. You know it as well as I do. But if you remember that rice, for example, rice. I'm sure many of you have rice as part of your iftar. very commonly during Ramadan, because many of our countries, rice is a staple food. Remember that rice that you ate, so you have a plate of rice. And on that plate of rice, maybe there's 137 grains of rice. I don't know, some number of rice, however much you put, there's a certain number of grains of rice on that plate. Remember that rice, those 137 grains of rice, each one of them was a plant that was planted in the ground somewhere hundreds of miles away, maybe on the other side of the planet. And for months, that plant grew, and somebody had to harvest it, and then dry the rice kernels, and then put it in a bag and ship it halfway around the world to come to you. And all of that is the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in other words, was responsible for every single grain of those 137 grains of rice on your plate. Every single one of them is accounted for by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The rain that fed the plant in Pakistan, so the basmati rice, you know, the basmati, we like the basmati rice. So the basmati rice that came from India or Pakistan, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent the rain there so that plant could grow. And so those 137 rice kernels that ended up on your plate, every single one of them is a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to you. You're going to throw it away? Waste it? After a day of fasting for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? What about meat? Wow, meat. To us, living in this country, alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us. We need to be so grateful that we have meat anytime we want. My dear brothers and sisters, remember that a good portion of this ummah, a good portion of our brothers and sisters around the world, they eat meat twice a year. Twice a year, if they're lucky, twice a year, on the 2 Eids. Because alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us this beautiful deen, that on Eid, we sacrifice and we give away a portion of the meat to the needy, and for many of our Muslim brothers and sisters around the world, that's the only time they get meat, those 2 times a year. And of course, many of them, even then, don't get meat. We're going to throw away some of that meat. We're going to not appreciate that meat when we make our iftar. Yeah, your iftar has quality. How much did you connect it with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? How grateful were you? How mindful and remembering were you that this meat that I'm eating was an animal that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is responsible for? I didn't give life to that animal. I didn't give life to the mother and the father of that animal and the generations of animals that came before this sheep or this cow or whatever animal it is. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave life to that animal and provided the food and the health to that animal so that it could grow. And some farmer somewhere in the world took care of that animal until it was ready to be slaughtered. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made that meat available to you and me. But we just take it for granted. We just assume that we are entitled to these big fancy meals every night during the month of Ramadan, when our brothers and sisters around the world, some of them have nothing to break their fast. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help our brothers and sisters around the world. There's so many of them. So my message to you, brothers and sisters, with this remaining portion of Ramadan, yes, do your best to do more. Evaluate, what have I done so far? What's my capability? And I'm going to do my best. I'm going to try to do as much as I possibly can and not waste any opportunity to do good during these last days of Ramadan. But also focus on the quality of all of those deeds, including the quality of your fast, the quality of your hunger. How connected was your hunger and your thirst to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? When you saw the food is available and you said, no, can't have it right now, did you remember that it's for you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? When you broke your fast, did you connect it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Did you appreciate that what you're breaking your fast with is a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Did you appreciate it and were you grateful for it? Did you thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for it? This is the purpose of Ramadan. The purpose of Ramadan is not to be robots and achieve more work, do more work. Work of reading Quran and work of praying and work of this and that. That's not the goal of Ramadan. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us this beautiful gift of Ramadan, and we need to appreciate it and connect it back to the one who gave us the gift. Imagine somebody gives you a gift, your neighbor gives you a gift, and says, oh, welcome to the neighborhood. We we wanted to give you a gift, so we bought you this plant for your house. Well, a grateful person will say thank you, and when they see the plant in their house, they'll remember their neighbor, and they'll say, oh, that's the plant that my neighbor gave me. What a nice neighbor. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them rewards for their good deeds. Or if they're not Muslim, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them hidayah. That's a grateful person. So imagine Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala giving us a gift, and we don't thank Him for it, we don't appreciate it, we don't connect that gift back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I encourage you and I encourage myself to focus on quality. Not just quantity, focus on quality for the rest of this Ramadan. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفر الله إنه غفور رحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. One of the most beautiful aspects of this gift that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us, this gift of Ramadan, is the opportunity to be forgiven for our sins. I said this last time I gave khutbah here, and I'll say it again. Do you think that a Lord who wanted to punish everyone and throw everyone in hellfire would give you something called Ramadan? Think about it for a moment. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, مَا يَفْعَلُ اللَّهُ بِعَذَابِكُمْ إِن شَكَرْتُمْ وَآمَنْتُمْ وَكَانَ اللَّهُ شَاكِرًا عَلِيمًا. What is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala going to do with your punishment? What do you think is benefit for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala of punishing you if you're grateful and you believe? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not just looking for excuses to punish people. It's the opposite. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is making it so easy and giving so many opportunities to us to get to Jannah, to be forgiven. And Ramadan is one of those beautiful opportunities. Laylatul Qadr is one of those opportunities. Laylatul Qadr. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us all the opportunity to see Laylatul Qadr. Would a Lord who wanted to punish you, was looking for reasons to throw you in hellfire, give you something called Laylatul Qadr? An opportunity where, hey, just be good on this night and do as much as you can and spend this night for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and your rewards are going to be multiplied so many times that you could live a lifetime of sin and it would outweigh it. The fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for doing a good deed, you get 10 hasanat, and then for doing one bad deed, it's 1 sayyah. That means if you did 9 evil deeds and you did 1 good deed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala still, your scales are still going to be favorable. Obviously, we're not purposely doing bad deeds. But the point is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the system in a way that it's generous, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most generous. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, out of His infinite generosity, has given you so many chances to redeem yourself. And we know that we're not adequate. We'll never be adequate as ibad to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala deserves much better from His ibad than what we can offer. But because He's so generous and He knows us so well, He made the system so easy. He gave us so many opportunities to make up for our shortcomings. You just have to be sincere to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's all it takes. That's what puts the value in those zeros, is the sincerity. is doing it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, doing your best because you love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you want to do something out of your love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You want to do something that you know is not going to benefit Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know He doesn't need it from you. Just like your wife doesn't need flowers from you. Now, I'm not saying don't buy your wife flowers. No, buy your wife flowers. What benefit did the flowers have to your wife? Did it make her smarter? Did it make her richer? Did it make her prettier? Did it make her anything? No. Purely the benefit of the flowers is showing your love. Saying, I love you so much, I bought you these flowers, not because I like flowers, but because I know you like flowers. Ya Allah, I'm fasting for you. I don't like being hungry and thirsty, but I love being hungry and thirsty for you because I know that you love me to fast Ramadan. That's all we can do for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's nothing else we can do. The last thing that I'll remind you, brothers and sisters, forgive me for reminding you, as I always do, and I know some people have hard feelings against me because I always remind people, donating to the masjid. Not just to the masjid, but donating from your money during the month of Ramadan. Yes, the masjid needs your support and appreciates your support, and you're not doing it for the masjid or for me or for the board or for the imam or for anybody else. You're doing it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I encourage you to donate to your masjid. You can do it online. You can go to the website, the Mohid, Zelle, whatever that is, these fancy technology things nowadays. You can do all of these things. And don't just donate to the masjid. I know you're not. I know you're also donating to so many good causes. But do it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Take advantage of Ramadan and make this one of the things you're going to do during this month. Take advantage of these last days of Ramadan to be generous the way that the Prophet ﷺ was generous, most generous during Ramadan. Take advantage of this opportunity. Remember that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't need your donations. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't need your donations to make this masjid successful. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't need your donations to help the people in Yemen or the people in anywhere around the world, all the different places you know. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't need your money for that. You need the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So like I said, your hunger and your thirst, not valuable, not worth anything. You think your $100 or your $1,000 is going to solve the problem in Yemen, or the problem in Kashmir, or the problem in Sudan, Somalia, all these different countries? You think your 100, your 1,000, your 10,000, your 100,000 is going to solve those problems? No, of course not. That's not why you're doing it. You're doing it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't need our money, but we need the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We need Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be pleased with us, so we donate our money not to prove to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we love Him, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows if we love Him or not, to prove to yourself. You need to prove to yourself, and I need to prove to myself, that I love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala more than my own money. I'm willing to give away my money because I love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that much. It's not easy. I know it's not easy. But that's what we need to do. So I apologize for going too late, but inshallah there's something beneficial from that khutbah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala benefit us all. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from us this month all of our fasting and our prayers, our Quran, our hunger, our thirst, our tiredness. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept it from us, and more importantly, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it only for His sake. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وأقيم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. إنا أنزلناه في ليلة القدر وما أدراك ما ليلة القدر ليلة القدر خير من 1000 شهر تنزل الملائكة والروح فيها بإذن ربهم من كل أمر سلام هي حتى مطلع الفجر. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده ربنا ولك الحمد. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. Brothers and sisters, just again a reminder until Brother Azhar comes to the front for announcements. Again, please donate for the masjid. Our goal for Ramadan, we raise about half of the funds for the entire year during the month of Ramadan. So the goal for the masjid is 400,000. If you go online, you'll see that right now we're only at 60,000. So we're only at 15% of the goal, and already most of Ramadan is over. So please help us reach the goal, and the benefit will be that inshallah on Laylatul Qadr, we won't end up having to spend 3 hours doing fundraising to reach our goal. So please give, and even if you're intending to give on Laylatul Qadr, give some now. Give some now to help us get that number as high as possible going into Laylatul Qadr so that we can make the fundraising inshallah shorter than it otherwise would be. Jazakumullahu khairan. Wassalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Just a quick reminders again, Zakatul Fitr is $10 per person. There are boxes outside you can donate, or you can donate online. Fidya for the missed fast is $10 per missed fast. Again, there are boxes outside, or you can do it online or in the accounts office. There will be a bus shuttle running from Noor parking lot to the Expo Center where the Eid will be held. It will start leaving from 8 o'clock to 8:30 a.m. If you're not booked, the seats are limited. There are 300 seats, half of them already gone. So for the tickets are very simple. If the family of 5, you can purchase a ticket for $20, or individually you can purchase the ticket for $5 per seat. As I said, 150 seats are already gone, only 150 left, so please purchase a ticket as soon as possible. Again, as Brother Ronnie reminded that we have reached only 15% of our donation. Please donate generously before the day of Qiyamul Layl or the 27th night. Brother Farooq is there on the table that's outside. He could take your donations. You can come to the office to me for your donations, or you can go online. You can Zelle it to finance@nooorohio.org also. وجزاكم الله خيرا. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.